Hello everyone. Today we will discuss digestive system. This is lecture outline about the GI system and its accessory organs of the GI system. This is learning objectives. Digestive system. As you know, digestive system includes about all alimentary tubes. So digestive system starts with mouth here, and goes into pharynx, then esophagus, then here stomach, then small intestine, large intestine, up to anus. So from the mouth tube, starting from mouth to anus is known as gastrointestinal system or alimentary canal, and there is also accessory organs and glands, which is this is liver, and this is pancreas, and other spleens and salivary glands, tongue, and all are including the alimentary canal. So this including these accessory organs and the alimentary canal in together, they are known as digestive system. So now we will discuss regarding about these tubes and these organs and this large and small intestine up to this anus. So this is known as digestive system or gastrointestinal system. So yeah, this is the gastrointestinal system. This is the small intestine, this is large intestine, and this is ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, and rectum, and end with anus. This is appendix, this is liver, this is esophagus, this is mouth with tongue and teeth, and this is all about the digestive system. So digestive system is the organs of digestive system are specialized for digestion and absorption of food. They are specialized. Functional activities of digestive system to prepare the food for cellular utilization are functional activities of the digestive system starts with the ingestion, so then mastication, then deglutition, then digestion, absorption, peristalsis, and finally end with defecation. Ingestion means the process of taking food into the mouth. Mastication means chewing and mixing food contents within the mouth. Deglutition means swallowing. So digestion means a process of food breakdown is known as digestion. Absorption means the process of taking nutrients into blood is from the GI is absorption. Then peristalsis is a movement of food through the GI system, and finally defecation means removal of the waste material. So ingestion is here, taking food into the mouth. Then there is mechanical digestion here. Then in this area there is esophagus here. There is pharynx and esophagus here. So propulsion is found means like deglutition and swallowing. Then food chewing in the mouth, shrinking in the stomach. Segmentation is small intestine. So in the stomach, chemical digestion takes place, stomach and small intestine, and peristalsis from esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine, and absorption is here from the GI system to the blood vessels and or to the lymph vessels and capillaries, or blood vessels is known as absorption. Finally, this is large intestine. Water is absorbed. Then finally, its faces anus. Then it will defecate. So this is the processes: ingestion, propulsion, absorption, digestion, and defecation. So food goes just like this in this pathway from the mouth, then pharynx, esophagus, then it will join into stomach. From the stomach it will go into the small intestine. This is the first small intestine part, that is duodenum. So it will go into them. This is jejunum. So finally this is ileum. Then this is large intestine. ascending colon, descending colon, then this here finally sigmoid colon, then this is rectum, and end with anus. So absorption, most absorption place is small intestine and large intestine. The most absorption in digestion place is small intestine. So this is so chemical digestion is a series of catabolic steps. Catabolic means breakdown. Series of catabolic steps in which complex food molecules are broken down to their chemical building blocks. It is accomplished by enzymes secreted by various glands into the lumen of alimentary canal. The enzymatic breakdown of foodstuffs begin in the mouth and essentially complete in the small intestine. The organs of the digestive system can be separated into groups. The one is alimentary canal, the other is accessory organs. Alimentary canal is starting from the mouth and into the anus, and the accessory organs are organs which is outside in the tube or in the alimentary canal, but their secretions or their effects will happen on the lumen of the small intestine or alimentary canal. So as you know, this all from starting this to the anus is known as alimentary canal, but the other accessory organs here like liver, spleen, just like that. So we can divide into two, like alimentary canal and accessory organs. So so in this area there is mouth or oral cavity here, tongue here. A tongue is accessory organ. So this is salivary gland. Salivary glands will divide into three. The one is parotid gland, then sublingual gland, then submandibular gland. Parotid gland is found here in front of ear, and submandibular gland is found here below. Sub means below, mandible means below the mandible. So sublingual is below the tongue. So three glands found around the mouth and will secrete saliva into the mouth. So they will make our mouth to be moist. So then this is the pharynx, and this is esophagus, about 25 up to 30 centimeter. Then we'll join into stomach. From the stomach we'll join into duodenum. Like that's a part of the first part of small intestine. Then we'll go to duodenum and ileum in the small intestine. Then we'll go to ascending colon, second ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, and rectum or anal canal. So this is liver. This is the inner one is gallbladder. So small intestine will divide into three: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. This is anus, the anal canal. So this is a transverse colon. Descending colon is this one I told you. So sigmoid colon, vermiform appendix is here, found appendix is here, found projected from the cecum. So this is all are about the gastrointestinal system. Digestive system or gastrointestinal system divide into two. The one is alimentary canal or gastrointestinal tract, the other is accessory digestive organs. Alimentary canal is a continuous muscular digestive tube that winds through the body. And what are the alimentary canal or gastrointestinal tract organs? That is mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. Accessory digestive organs are teeth, tongue, gallbladder, cardiovulvar gland, liver, pancreas is called accessory digestive organs. From these organs there is also glands. Salivary gland is a gland, and also liver, pancreas is we can say accessory digestive glands. So accessory organs produce saliva. For instance, salivary glands produce saliva, gallbladder produce like bile, and others like pancreas produce digestive enzymes that contribute to the breakdown of foodstuffs. So both accessory digestive organs and alimentary canal organs are important for digestive system or food digestion. So not only food digestion but also all food activity, what are functional activities of the GI system will perform by these organs. So digestive system organs, most of digestive system organs reside or found in the abdominal pelvic cavity. Most of are found in the abdominal cavity, and in some are also in the pelvic cavity. So all ventral body cavities contain serous membrane. All ventral body cavities means like this thoracic cavity, abdominal cavity, and pelvic cavities contain serous membrane. serous membrane. So a peritoneum of abdominal cavity is the most extensive serous membrane of the body, very large, is the most extensive. So as compared to, for instance, pleura in the lung, for lung and heart, we can say pleura. For GI system, we can say peritoneum. Peritoneum means it is serous membrane which covers and connects organs of the digestive system. So this is peritoneum here. So this is organs. So peritoneum connects different types of organs. So having this concept, we will go to the about layers of peritoneum. Peritoneum have two types of layer. The one is visceral peritoneum, the other is parental peritoneum. The visceral peritoneum covers the external surface of most of digestive organs, and it's continuous with parental peritoneum. So visceral peritoneum is found directly external to all digestive organs. So these are meaning it will cover directly the organs, but parental peritoneum lines the walls of abdominal pelvic cavity. So parental peritoneum covers abdominal pelvic cavity, whereas visceral peritoneum covers the organs of the external surface of organs of digestive system. So between the two layers there is a peritoneal cavity. This cavity contains a serous fluid secreted by serous membranes. So there is visceral peritoneum, there is parental peritoneum. So for instance, visceral peritoneum is here, that is covers the organs of GI system, whereas this is parental peritoneum that covers the walls of the cavity, or this is a pelvic cavity, so the walls of cavity. So between the two there is a space. This space or cavity is known as peritoneal cavity. This peritoneal cavity contains peritoneal fluid. This fluid is important for lubrication. So this is an important concept. Having this concept, there is also mesentery. Mesentery is a double layer of peritoneum, a sheet of two serous membranes fused back to back, and that extend to the digestive organ from the body wall. So mesenteries provide routes for blood vessels, lymphatics, nerves to reach the digestive viscera. So this is when we come to this one is for instance, mesentery is this one. This mesentery is a double layer. Like mesentery is a special form of peritoneum that mesentery is given the name for small intestine, for intestine. So mesenteries provide routes for blood vessels. Like this is blood vessels. This is thin red lines are blood vessels. This meaning this mesenteries provides the route for blood vessels, lymphatic vessels and nerves to reach the digestive flow from this place to this place, or from this place to this place. So will serve as a medium to exchange blood vessels, nerves and others. Mesenteries also suspend the visceral organs in place, as well as serving a site for fat storage. One is important for transporting blood vessels, lymphatics and nerves. The other is important to suspend organs of the GI system. The other is very important for us, used as for fat storage, serving as a site for fat storage, So this is an important concept. The other is peritoneal organs and retroperitoneal organs. So peritoneal organs and retroperitoneal organs. Peritoneal organs are organs which is covered by peritoneum, whereas retroperitoneal organs are organs which is found behind the peritoneum. So these organs are only covered by peritoneum anteriorly. So peritoneal organs like spleen and stomach are peritoneal organs that is fully covered by peritoneum, whereas retroperitoneal organs are organs which is they are found behind the peritoneum, but the peritoneum covers anteriorly. The peritoneum covers the anterior part of these retroperitoneal organs. So retroperitoneal organs are organs which is found behind the peritoneum. So this is known as retroperitoneal organs. This is the name is given based on in relation to the peritoneum. So this is a mesentery, by the way. And the other is abdominal regions. We do have 9 types of regions. So if we are dividing our abdomen by 4 lines, we can would have 2 lines here, 2 vertical lines, and we do have 2 horizontal lines. These 2 vertical and horizontal lines gives us 9 regions of the abdomen. So let us count. This one is the first region. So this region is known as right hypochondriac region. This is an epigastric region, so it's epigastric region. So this one is left hypochondriac region. This one is the right lumbar region, whereas this one is umbilical region, whereas this one is left lumbar region, and right iliac region or inguinal region, and left iliac or inguinal region, and this is pubic region or hypogastric region. So this is 3, this is 3, and this is 3. There are 9 regions. So these 9 regions are important to easily locate where each organ is found in the abdomen, to locate the location of each organ in the abdomen. So this is quadrants. This part is, by the way, abdominal regions is based on quadrant. We can divide into 4. This is quadrants are very important clinically. So mostly quadrants are applicable in clinical assessment, physical assessment. So these are 4 quadrants. This is known as right upper quadrant. This is known as right lower quadrant. This is known as left upper quadrant. This is known as left lower quadrant. So by lining 2 lines, this is known as vertical line or medial line, and this one is another horizontal line. So due to these 2 lines, we can divide into 4 quadrants. So we can identify in which organ is found in each quadrant by easily making this 4 quadrants. So based on this, so we can forming 4 quadrants, and in the right upper quadrant here, in this region, in the right upper quadrant, we can found these all organs, like for instance right lobe of the liver, gallbladder, pylorus part of the stomach, duodenum part 1 up to part 3, 1 up to 3 parts of duodenum, head of the pancreas, right suprarenal gland, right kidney, right colic flexure or hepatic flexure, superior part of ascending colon, right half of transverse colon. All these are considered as right upper quadrant, whereas right lower quadrants are including cecum. Organs which is found in the right lower quadrants are cecum, appendix, most of the ileum, ascending colon, inferior part of ascending colon, right ovary, right uterine tube, abdominal part of right ureter, right spermatic cord, abdominal part of right spermatic cord, uterus if it is enlarged, uterine bladder if it is full. So these all are found on the right lower quadrant, whereas in the left upper quadrant, the left lobe of the liver, spleen, all parts of spleen, all parts of stomach except the pylorus, and jejunum, and proximal ileum, pancreas, body and tail part of the pancreas, left kidney, left suprarenal gland, left colic flexure, transverse colon, left half of transverse colon, superior part of descending colon, all are found on the left upper quadrant, whereas in the left lower quadrant, sigmoid colon, inferior part of descending colon, left ovary, left uterine tube, left ureter, abdominal part of left ureter, left spermatic cord, abdominal part of left spermatic cord, uterus and urinary bladder, are found within lower left lower right quadrant. So now we are going to about the histology of alimentary canal. From the esophagus to the anal canal, the walls of the every organs of alimentary canal are made up of the same four basic layers or tonics. So based on histology, the walls of alimentary canal divide into four basic layers or tonics. The first layer is mucosa, the second layer is submucosa, the third is muscularis externa, the fourth is serosa. So this is mucosa, and this is submucosa, and this is muscularis externa, and this is serosa. This is the inner layer. Then next, so from the inner part, from inside to outside is mucosa, submucosa, muscularis externa, serosa. Each tonic contains predominant tissue type that plays specific role in the food breakdown. So when we are going to see that this is the lumen of alimentary system or intestine. So in this way we can see as the four layers of the alimentary canal. So the first, this is known as lumen. This is known as the tube is known as the lumen. Then we will continue as the mucosa. So from this place, from this line up to this line is known as mucosa. This part, from this up to this part is known as mucosa. So mucosa divide into three. This mucosa is divided into three. The first is epithelium, the second one is lamina propria, the third is muscularis mucosa, not muscularis externa but muscularis mucosa. So from inside to outside, epithelium, lamina propria, and muscularis mucosa. Three are layers, which is very important. So layers of the mucosa. So epithelium means this the inner, this line is the epithelium. This the white one is known as lamina propria, whereas this the red line is known as muscularis mucosa. So this in together is known as mucosa. And second, also this line between two red, from this red line and from this red line, but this white space is known as submucosa. This is submucosa, which contains blood vessels, nerves, and each blood vessel structures and nerves. So finally, this red line, this red space is known as muscularis externa. So this is muscularis mucosa, this is muscularis externa. So muscularis externa having two muscle layers. In the stomach it is three, but other parts are two: longitudinal muscle and circular muscle. In the stomach it will add, it can be added, oblique muscle can be added. So would have the muscularis externa arranged into as longitudinal and circular muscle. So this is known as muscularis externa. Finally, this white line or this white covering is known as serosa. Serosa contains epithelium and connective tissue. So from inside to outside, here mucosa, here submucosa, here muscularis externa, whereas this is known as serosa. Like esophagus, we can say adventitia. So having this concept, duct or gland of alimentary canal is here, gland in the mucosa is here, and for instance, if you see this is glands, if you see this area, this is known as submucosa. Submucosa is a place where the network of nerves, arteries, and veins are found on the submucosal layer, and also in the nerve there is nerve plexuses, two types of nerve plexuses. The one is mesenteric nerve plexuses, the other is submucosal nerve plexuses. Submucosal nerve plexus are found on the submucosa, whereas mesenteric nerve plexus is found on the muscularis externa. So this is nerve plexuses, which is considered as intrinsic nerve plexus of GIT. So this is the external layer is known as adventitia or serosa. So this is the layers of alimentary canal. So mucosa is the most moist epithelial membrane that lines the length of the luminous of alimentary canal. Digestive mucosa consists of three sublayers. These three layers, as I told you, three sublayers, we can Three sublayers means epithelium, lamina purpura, and muscularis mucosa. The epithelium of the mucosa is simple columnar epithelium. Epithelium found especially in the stomach and small intestine is simple columnar epithelium that is rich in mucus secreted cells, which is known as goblet cells. Goblet cells are cells which secrete mucuses. So simple columnar epithelium is which lines epithelium part of the mucosa. The major functions of the mucosa are: the one is secretion of mucus. Secretion of mucus is one of the functions of the mucosa. The other is secretion of digestive enzyme and secretion of hormones. The other function of mucosa is for absorption, whereas the other is for protection. So this is the three functions of the mucosa. So this is another arrangement of the mucosa. So this is known as epithelium. This is lamina purpura. This is muscularis mucosa, and this is known as submucosa, whereas this one is muscularis externa. From muscularis externa, this is a circular layer, and this one is longitudinal layer. So this is serosa, or you can say visceral peritoneum. Mesenteric nerve plexus is found on the muscle, and mucosa nerve plexus found on the submucosa. So this is this one is enteric neuron. So the second type of layer is known as submucosa. Submucosa is a moderately dense connective tissue containing blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, lymph nodules, and nerve fibers. So it is rich supply of elastic fibers, enables the stomach to regain its normal shape after storing large meal. So when the large meal is stored on the stomach, our stomach will be enlarged. Then after that food is removed, the stomach will regain its original position. So this elasticity comes from the elastic fibers, which is found on the submucosal layer. The other is muscularis externa. Muscularis externa is responsible for segmentation and peristalsis. So it mixes and propels foodstuffs along the digestive tract. This thick muscular layer has an inner circular and outer longitudinal layer. So it's in several places along the GIT. The circular layer thickens to form sphincters. Like circular layer provides situation for sphincters like cardiac sphincter, pyloric sphincter, anal sphincter. Sphincters act as valves to prevent backflow and control food passage from one organ to the next. So sphincters serves us for valves. So valves are given for blood vessels, whereas sphincter is for tubes like GIT tubes. So sphincter, for instance, cardiac sphincter, which prevents backflow of food from the stomach to the mouth or esophagus, whereas pyloric is from the small intestine to the stomach, and these are it prevents ileocecal valves prevents food contents from the large intestine to the small intestine. This is about the muscularis externa. The other is serosa. Serosa is the protective outermost layer of peritoneal organ. This visceral peritoneum is formed of aeroral connective tissue covered with mesothelium, single layer of squamous epithelial cells. So serosa means similar with visceral peritoneum, so they are made up of squamous epithelial cells. In the esophagus, which is located in the thoracic instead of abdominal pelvic cavity, the serosa is replaced by adventitia. So for instance, for esophagus, which is lined against thoracic cavity, so we can give adventitia. For other parts, we can name it visceral peritoneum as serosa. In the case of esophagus, we can give visceral peritoneum as adventitia. So adventitia is an ordinary fibrous connective tissue that binds the esophagus to the surrounding structures. Enteric nervous system. Alimentary canal has its own in-house nerve supply. This is known as enteric nervous system. Enteric neurons communicate widely with each other to regulate the digestive system activity. These intrinsic neurons constitute the bulk of the two major intrinsic nerve plexuses, so found within the walls of alimentary canal. This intrinsic nerve plexus is known as submucosal nerve plexus and mesenteric nerve plexuses. So this is mesenteric nerve plexus. This is mesenteric nerve plexus, whereas this is submucosal nerve plexus. So mesenteric is this is submucosal is here, found in the mucosa, whereas this one is mesenteric nerve plexus, found on the Muscularis Externa. This is Muscularis Externa, this is submucosa. So this is in the submucosa is submucosal nerve plexus, whereas in the Muscularis Externa is mesenteric nerve plexus. Mesenteric nerve plexus. So this is submucosal nerve plexus and mesenteric nerve plexuses. The other is organs of the digestive system. Now we are going to organs of the digestive system. Organs of the digestive system starts with mouth. So now we are beginning about the mouth. So mouth is the only part of the digestive system that is involved in the ingestion of food. That is involved for ingestion of food. Ingestion means taking food into the mouth, a process of taking food into the mouth. So most digestive function of the mouth reflect the activity of accessory organs, chewing food and mixing it with saliva to begin the process of chemical digestion. The mouth also begins the propulsive process by which food is carried through the pharynx and esophagus to the stomach. Mouth also begin propulsive process or swallowing, by which food is carried through the pharynx, esophagus to the stomach. So mouth, within mouth there is oral cavity. Oral cavity is lined with mucosa. It is bounded by lips anteriorly. This is lips anteriorly, and the tongue inferiorly. This is the tongue. This, by the way, this is oral cavity. This is oral cavity. So this is the tongue, and this is the lip anteriorly. Tongue is inferiorly. The cheeks laterally. The cheeks laterally, where cheeks found on this area laterally. So the palate superiorly. The palate superiorly. So this is the palate. So this one is hard palate, this soft palate. So the palate is bounded superiorly, bounded oral cavity superiorly, and its anterior opening is the oral orifice. Its anterior opening is the oral orifice. So anterior opening of the mouth is known as oral orifice. This is the oral orifice. So posteriorly the oral cavity is continuous with the oropharynx. So by the way, this is the oral cavity. So posteriorly continuous with the oropharynx. This is oropharynx. So continuous with the oropharynx. So when it came to all structures found, this structure is known as ovula, and this area is the soft palate, and this anterior to third is hard palate. So this is oral cavity, this is tongue. So at the base of the tongue there is tonsil, is known as lingual tonsil. This is known as epiglottis, and this is oropharynx, whereas this is laryngopharynx. This is hyoid bone, and this is a tonsil, which is known as palatine tonsil. And in this area there is a tube. This tube is known as pharyngotympanic tube in the nasopharynx. This is nasopharynx. So three types of pharynx. This is nasopharynx, this is oropharynx, and this is laryngopharynx. So this is esophagus posteriorly, whereas this is trachea, which is found anterior to the esophagus. So this is structures which is found around the mouth. So the walls of the mouth are lined with stratified squamous epithelium. So mouth is it can withstand abrasion and any scratching. So because of stratified nature of the epithelium, so stratified squamous epithelium is found on the mouth and found also on the around the vagina. So the mucus of the vagina. So epithelium is highly keratinized. So the mucus also produces defenses to fight microorganisms in the mouth. So the mucus has the ability to produce defenses or micro-defenses. These defenses are important to fight microorganisms in the mouth. The keratinized nature of the epithelium is also important to withstand any abrasion and any friction. So this is another part of this is known as lip. It's known as upper lip. This is lower lip. This is cheeks, two cheeks, and palate. This is palate. So this is palatine valve. This is known as hard palate. This is known as gums. So ovula is here, palatine tonsil is here, and duct of submandibular gland is here, and vestibule is found on this area, and inferior lip is here, inferior labial frenulum is here, and gingiva or gums is here, and lingual frenulum here, tongue is here, and posterior wall of the oropharynx is found around here. This is known as plato-pharyngeal arch, and this is known as plato-glossal arch, and this is superior labial frenulum. So this is about the mouth. So the next organ of the digestive system is pharynx. Pharynx, from the mouth, the food passes posteriorly into the oropharynx. So the mucosa consists of stratified squamous epithelium. So for the food pass posteriorly into the oropharynx. So oropharynx is made up of stratified squamous epithelium. So epithelium is supplied with mucus producing gland for lubrication. So oropharynx is found here, around here, the other is pharynx. External muscular layer consists of two skeletal muscle layers. The muscles of inner layer are longitudinally. The outer layer of muscles, pharyngeal constricting muscles, encircle the wall. Sequential contractions propel food into esophagus. So this is larynx, this is epiglottis, this is tongue. So we do have three constrictor muscles in esophagus. This is known as superior constrictor muscle. This is the middle constrictor muscle, and this is known as inferior constrictor muscle. So the other organ is esophagus. Esophagus starts here at the end of esophagus and will continue up to the cardiac part of the stomach. So this long, from 25 up to 30 centimeter length organ is known as esophagus. Esophagus takes fairly straight course, like this, So through the mediastinum of the thorax, this is mediastinum. So pierces the diaphragm at the esophageal hiatus to enter the abdomen. So at this area there is known as there is opening. That opening known as hiatus. This hiatus is known as esophageal hiatus. This esophageal hiatus is an entrance site for esophagus. So esophagus joins the stomach at the cardiac orifice. So esophagus joins the stomach as the cardiac orifice. Here is cardiac orifice is here. So this is stomach. So this is esophagus. So in this at the cardiac orifice. So the cardiac orifice is surrounded by cardiac esophageal sphincter. So esophagus is 25 centimeter long. So this is his sphincter here. This sphincter is known as cardiac esophageal sphincter. So this is important to prevent backflow of food content from the stomach to the esophagus. So this is stomach, by the way. This is from when you line the line here, just like this. So the line above, the structure above this line is known as fundus. This one is fundus. So this outer layer is serosa. This one is known as body, whereas this area is known as pyloric. So pyloric, this is a pyloric antrum, this is a pyloric canal, whereas this is a sphincter. This is known as pyloric sphincter. Pyloric sphincter or valve prevents backflow from the duodenum or small intestine to the stomach. So so mainly we do have fundus here, body here, cardiac here, cardiac 1, fundus 2, body 3, pylorus 4. So we do have 4 parts of the stomach. And pylorus includes pyloric antrum, pyloric canal, pyloric sphincter. So stomach has 2 curvature. This is a greater curvature. Whereas this one is the lesser curvature. This is lesser curvature, whereas this one is a greater curvature. The other is Muscularis Externa, have 3 layers. Longitudinal, this is longitudinal layer, this is circular layer, whereas this one is oblique layer. So oblique layer is additionally added from what we have seen, 2 layers like circular layer and longitudinal layer. So the outer longitudinal, the inner circular is we have seen previous, but now the outer longitudinal, the middle circular, the inner oblique. So we do have 3 muscle layers, or Muscularis Externa is having 3 layers: longitudinal, circular, and oblique layer. And this is all about the stomach. Just I'm telling about the stomach, but we are from the esophagus. So esophageal mucosa contain non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, which changes abruptly simple pulmonary epithelium upon reaching in the stomach. So the epithelium of stomach is known as simple pulmonary epithelium, whereas the epithelium of esophagus is known as non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Mucosa contains mucus secreting esophageal glands, which are compressed by passing bolus of the food, resulting gland secreting lubricant. And as the esophagus, the Muscularis Externa of esophagus changes from skeletal muscle to mixed skeletal and smooth muscle. Finally, all smooth as it approaches to the stomach. Let me show you. By the way, this is, let us assume that this is esophagus. So esophagus we can divide into 3 parts. So this is upper 1/3, this is the middle 1/3, and this is the lower 1/3. So the upper 1/3 of the esophagus is innervated by the muscle is skeletal muscle, whereas the middle one is skeletal and smooth muscle, and finally the lower 1/3 is innervated by only smooth muscle. So when we are going to down, it will change into smooth muscle. So smooth muscle became involuntary because the smooth muscle is innervated by autonomic nervous system. It is involuntary. So now the other type of organ of gastrointestinal system is stomach. Stomach is called, another name of stomach is called gaster. The J-shaped enlargement of GIT is called stomach. Stomach functions as temporary storage tank, where chemical breakdown of protein begins and food is converted into creamy paste called chyme. So chemical breakdown of protein begins in the stomach and food is converted into creamy paste. This is known as chyme. Chemical breakdown of protein and fat starts in the stomach. The chemical breakdown of food and fat and protein starts in the stomach. Some substances are absorbed in the stomach, such as water, electrolyte. Some drugs like aspirin and alcohol are absorbed in the stomach. Stomach lies, that's why most of the time, like aspirin, ibuprofen, like that, when ordered for having stomach gastritis or like that, it will lead to perforation. So because of the absorption on that area. So stomach lies in the upper left quadrant of the abdominal cavity. Through relatively fixed at both ends, it is free to move in between. So stomach at the end, as the two ends are fixed, but in between it's free. Stomach gross anatomy. Stomach varies from 6 to 10 inches length. 10 means 10 times 2.5, it's about 25 centimeter. So this is the length, but its diameter and volume depend on how much food it contains. So when there is no food in the stomach, the diameter or the volume will be shrinkage or become small. When food is found on the within, it will enlarge it. So when empty it may contain on 50 ml, but can expand to hold about 4 liters of food. So when we are saying stomach is empty, at least it will contain 50 ml of food, but also stomach has the capacity to contain about 4 liters of food. So when empty, the stomach collapses inward, throwing its mucosa into lard. So this mucosa is known as forming longitudinal fold. This fold is known as rugae. So I will show you rugae, what seems like that. The major region of the stomach is, by the way, we do have 4 types of region in the stomach. The first part is cardiac region, then the fundus, then the body 3, and pyloric region is 4. We do have 4 parts. Pyloric region will divide also further into pyloric antrum and pyloric canal. Pyloric canal has 2 curvatures, greater curvature and lesser curvature. Has less 2 omentum, lesser omentum and greater omentum. Omentum having 2 types of omentum is a peritoneum, which is given to the stomach. So there are 2 types of omentum: lesser omentum, which is found on the lesser curvature of the stomach; greater omentum, which arises from the greater curvature of the stomach. Lesser omentum runs from the liver to the lesser curvature, where it becomes continuous with visceral peritoneum of the stomach. So lesser omentum is connects liver with the lesser curvature of the stomach, whereas greater omentum drapes inferior from the greater curvature of the stomach to cover the coils of the small intestine. So stomach has 2 orifices, superior and inferior orifice, 2 ends, superior and inferior ends, 2 curvature, greater and lesser curvature, 2 border, anterior and posterior border, and 2 surfaces, anterior and posterior surfaces. So this is stomach. So as I told you, this is cardia, this is cardiac region, this is fundus region, this is body, this is known as pylorus region. That's what I've seen before. Yeah, this is an important picture which shows the parts of the stomach, the regions of the stomach in color. So this is stomach, this is esophagus, this is cardiac region of the stomach, this is the fundus region of the stomach, this is the body of the stomach. So the body of the stomach, this is the pyloric region. So specifically this is known as pyloric antrum. This is the sulcus, which is known as sulcus intermedius, and this is pyloric sphincter, and this is pyloric canal internally. So we do have 2 curvatures. This is lesser curvature, whereas this one is the greater curvature. This is an angle here. An angle is called insura angularis. So this is and also this is cardiac insura, which is a part of the esophagus with the stomach, the fundus, and the body of the stomach, or the fundus of the stomach. Now we can see about the histology of the stomach. When we are observing the histology of the stomach, histologically, stomach is composed of the same 4 basic layers, which contain certain modifications, having mucosa. Epithelium of the mucosa is layer of simple columnar epithelium. Lamina purpura, oral connective tissue. Secretion from glands flow into gastric pit, then stomach lumen. The gastric glands contain 3 types of cells. So in the mucosa there is gastric glands contains 3 types of cells. These cells are, the first cells are mucous neck cells, the second cells are parental cells, the third one is the chief cells. Chief cells, mucous neck cells are which secrete mucus. Parental cells are produce intrinsic factor like vitamin B12 and hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid and vitamin B12 is secreted by intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factors means vitamin B12 and this is vitamin B12 and also hydrochloric acid. By the way, vitamin B12 or intrinsic factor and hydrochloric acid are secreted by parental cells of the stomach, whereas chief cells secrete pepsinogen and gastric lipase. There are also another cells which is called stem cells. Stem cells dividing continually and replacing the entire lining of epithelium, mucus secreting cells, every 3 to 7 days. So the epithelium of the mucus will be replaced by stem cells every 3 to 7 days. So the mucosa or the gastric glands which is found in the mucosa is having 3 types of cells: mucous neck cells, parental cells, and chief cells. Let me see the shapes. So before that, let me tell you about the. So when you cut this one in section just like this, there is mucosa. So this is known as surface epithelium, this one, and this one is lamina purpura, whereas this one is muscularis mucosa, whereas this area is submucosal plexus, and this area is Muscularis Externa, divided into 3: oblique layer, circular layer, and outer longitudinal layer, and finally this is serosa. So when we are observing cells, these cells are known as chief cells. This is known as chief cells, whereas these cells are parental cell. This is parental cell, this is chief cell. So this pepsinogen changing into pepsin by hydrochloric acid. So these cells are also they are chief cells here, chief cells. This is gastric glands, and this cell is known as parental cell. Parental cell. By the way, if you cut here and magnify, you will see just like this. So this is parental. So this is now this is a gastric pituus, which is whole. This is gastric pituus. This is surface epithelium, and this is mucous neck cells, and this one is parental cells, and this one is chief cells, whereas this is endocrine cells. This is all about today's section. To next video we will in the next video we will start about the small intestine. So to get the next video, don't forget to subscribe this channel. So thank you very much for watching this video. Have a nice time. Bye bye.